Hello everyone, dear student. In this video lecture, we shall discuss the concept of partial fraction decomposition or expansion, which is generally used for evaluating the definite and indefinite integration. And it is very important, repeatedly used in the various advanced mathematics as well as the real life applications. So let us begin with partial fraction method. So here we first see the concept of rational function. So what is mean by rational function? So any function of the form p of x upon q of x, where p of x and q of x are polynomial in x with q of x not equal to 0, that is denominator not equal to 0. Such functions are called rational functions. Now rational functions are of two types: proper function and improper function. So that is decided by the degree, comparing the degree. If the degree of p of x is lesser than the degree of q of x, if it is true, then such functions are called proper function or proper fraction. If it is deviates from this, that is, if the degree of p of x is greater than or equal to the degree of q of x, then such functions are called improper functions. So for a partial fraction method, we need a proper fraction. So what we do in such case when we have a proper fractions? So we'll have to convert it into a proper fraction. So for this, the easiest process is that do the long division process. Just divide numerator by denominator. You will get the proper fractions. Once we get a proper fraction, then it is ready for writing the partial fractions for a given rational functions. So with this, we can write the partial fractions easily. Now, in the next slide, we will see the various cases of rational functions as well as the how to write their partial fractions. So let us start with the first case. If we have a distinct linear factors. So here denominator is factorized into a linear factors. Both of them are distinct. In such case, we write partial fraction as, for a linear one, we simply write the constant a or b or c like this. So here we have a upon x minus a plus b upon x minus b. The next possibility is the factors will be linear, but it is repeated many times. So here it is repeated n times, right? So in such case, the partial fraction is written as a upon x minus a, start with the power 1, then go on increasing its power by 1 in each consecutive terms till you get the required power. So as it here we have x minus a raised to n, so we write it as a upon x minus a plus b upon x minus a whole square plus c upon x minus a whole cube plus up to n upon x minus a raised to n. So like this we can write the partial fraction for repeated linear factors. The next possibility is we will have some linear factors which are repeated and some are distinct. In such case, according to the above two cases, we will write the partial fractions. So here we have linear, this which is distinct, and other is repeated. So we write partial fraction as a upon x minus a plus b upon x minus b plus c upon x minus b whole square. So the next case is we may have a linear as well as quadratic terms. So here the quadratic terms must be irreducible. Irreducible quadratic terms means those quadratic terms which cannot be factorized into a linear factors with a real zero factors, real zero roots. That is called irreducible quadratic factors. So for a irreducible quadratic factors, we write the partial fraction as ax plus b in the numerator. So it is here the partial fractions will be a upon x minus a plus bx plus c upon x square plus bx plus c. The next case is we will have a distinct quadratic factors. So according to the requirement for a quadratic term, we write ax plus b upon the first quadratic factor. The next is distinct, so we write cx plus d upon the second quadratic factor. In such a way, we can get the partial fractions. So I hope this method of writing partial fractions for according to the nature of the factors obtained in the denominator, one can write the partial fractions easily. Now let us see what is the working rule for partial fraction decomposition. So start with a partial rational expression. As I said, for a partial fraction decomposition, we need a proper rational expressions. If it is not, then go on applying the long division method first. Now, then factorize the denominator or bottom into a linear factors or irreducible quadratic factors. As I said earlier, irreducible quadratic factor is a quadratic that has no real zeros or no real roots. After factorizing denominator into linear factors or quadratic factors, what we do according to the table which I have discussed earlier in the previous slide, you have to write partial fraction for each factors. Then multiply each fractions by the missing term in order to achieve the denominator, term in the denominator. Then once we get that, solve for the coefficients by one of these two methods, either substituting zeros of the denominator or making the system of linear equations of each power and then solving that for getting the constants in the partial fractions. In such a way, one can get the partial fraction decomposition for the given rational function or expression. So let us see few examples based on this. So first I am taking the type that linear distinct factors. So decompose into linear partial fraction this function. So what we do first, we'll try to factorize this into a linear factors if possible into with real zeros. So factorize this. So here we find its factors will be x plus 1 into x minus 2. Then after this we'll write the partial fraction for each of these factors as both are linear and distinct, so we write partial fraction as a upon x plus 1 plus b upon x minus 2. Once we get this, our task is to find out the constant involved over here. So that is to find out the constants a and b, right? So what we do, so we will multiply by numerator, this cross multiply numerator, so we get such type of terms. Then we'll collect the coefficients of same power. So we'll collect the coefficients of x and the constant term over here. Now, so to find out the constants a and b, we have two methods possible over here, that is equating coefficients of like powers of x. So here coefficient of like powers of x is a plus b is a coefficient of x on the last fraction, which is equated with the left hand side leftmost expression, that is a plus b equal to 5 and minus 2a plus b equal to minus 7. So on solving these two simultaneous equation, we will get a equal to 4 and b equal to 1. This is the first method, that is equating coefficient of like powers of x. Now there is a second possibility, that is by making the denominator 0. So multiply throughout by the denominator. So we will have no longer a fractional term. So what we observe here, this gets cancelled, x plus 1, x minus 2 on both the side. So we are left with 5x minus 7 equal to a plus b, or a times x minus 2 plus b times x plus 1. Now denominator is 0, this x plus 1 is 0, or x equal to minus 1. So put x is equal to minus 1 in this expression, you will get equal to 4, and then next denominator is 0. For x is equal to 2, so put x is equal to 2, we will get b is equal to 1. So like this we are getting the values of a and b by the method 2 also. So substituting these values of a and b in this partial fraction form, so we get 5x minus 7 upon x square minus x minus 2 is equal to 4 upon x plus 1 plus 1 upon x minus 2. So this is the first example, first case. Now second case is linear repeated factors. So decompose into partial fraction this example. So what we find here, the denominator is already factorized into a linear repeated term. Linear repeated term, x plus 1 whole square represents linear repeated factor. Okay, so according to the rule mentioned applicable, for this we will write the partial fractions. So it will be a upon x plus 1 plus b upon x plus 1 whole square. Now our aim is to find out a and b. So let us first, as denominator is x plus 1 whole square, so I need to multiply a by x plus 1 only, and b will remain as it is because it fulfills the requirement of this denominator x plus 1 whole square. Okay, you can separate the terms, collect the terms of coefficients of various powers of x. Now find out constants of a and b. So here in this case, even though we have the two methods to find out constants a and b, so in such a case the method 1 will be more effective, because when we use the method 2 over here, you will have to make use of method 1 in that also. So we will just apply the method 1 for evaluating the constants a and b. Right, so equating coefficients of like powers of x, so this denominator gets cancelled. What we have, 5x minus 7 equal to ax plus a plus b. Okay, so coefficients of x is a on the right hand side and 5 on the left hand side. So what we get, a equal to 5, and the constant term is a plus b equal to, here on the left hand side it is minus 7. So a plus b equal to minus 7. So like this we get a equal to 5, substitute the value of a as 5 in the next equation, you will get b as minus 12. So like this we get the partial fraction decomposition for this given expression as 5x minus 7 upon x plus 1 whole square equal to 5 upon x plus 1 minus 12 upon x plus 1 whole square. Now let us have the next case, that is linear and quadratic factors. So decompose into partial fraction this expression. Here we find that this is a linear one and this is a this is irreducible quadratic factor. Why it is irreducible quadratic factor? Because if we find out the root of this x square plus 1 equal to 0, so what it gives, x is equal to plus minus I, which is not a real 0. So that's why this is a irreducible quadratic factors, and as we have power 2 over here, so this is nothing but a irreducible quadratic factor which is a repeated one. So according to the nature of the factors, we will write the partial fractions. So first we will write for a linear one. So it is a upon x plus 1 plus, then for a quadratic repeated, we will start with bx plus c upon x square plus 1 with the power 1, and then go on increasing the power till you will get the desired power for a repetition. So that is dx plus e upon x square plus 1 whole square. Now our aim is to find out ABCD. So let us, so our LCM is this x square plus 1 whole square into x plus 1. So what we do, we will multiply each term by the missing term required for getting this denominator on the left hand side. So here it already contains x plus 1. So what is missing? X square plus 1 whole square. So I will multiply a by x square plus 1 whole square. Then in bx plus c, already it has x square plus 1. So what is missing? One x plus 1 is missing and one more term of x square plus 1. So I will multiply bx plus c by x plus 1 into x square plus 1. Then dx plus e has x square plus 1 whole square. So what is remaining or missing for the getting the denominator of the left hand side, that is x plus 1. So we have x plus 1. Like this we will write. Now we will expand this term, numerator, collect the powers of like powers of x, coefficient of like powers of x. Now find out constants a, b, c, d, e. So equating coefficients of like powers of x on both the side. What we get? So coefficient of x to the power 4 is a plus b. On the left hand side we didn't find any coefficient of x to the power 4, so it means 0. Then coefficient of x cube is here, b plus c, whereas on the left hand side it is no term, so that is 0. Then 2a plus b plus c plus d comes out to be 0. Then b plus c plus d plus e, coefficient of x. Here we find coefficient of x as 1, so that is 1. Then no constant term, so a plus c plus e is equal to 0. So like this we get the system of equations in a, b, c, d, e. We will solve this. So what we find here, that a is minus 1 by 4, b is 1 by 4, c minus 1 by 4, d is 1 by 2 and e is 1 by 2. Like this, after getting the constants, we will write this in the given partial decomposition. Okay, that is this equation. So like this we have seen different cases. So just remember for that table which I have mentioned in this slide number 3, just apply the cases according to this, and I will suggest if you will have the mixed term, that is linear or quadratic, or there will be a linear repeated term, then go with the method 1 rather than the method 2. Method 2 is effective only if you will have the linear distinct factors, then easily you will get the desired constant. So go with the method 2, apply the cases properly, write the partial fractions, and once we get the partial fractions for a given expression, then by using the various rules of the integration, one can get the integration of such terms. So I hope through this video the concept of partial fraction must be clear to you. If you have any doubt or queries, then you can contact me. Thank you for watching the video.